Hi, my name is Melissa McKim, and this is my Masters of Instructional Technology Practicum e-Portfolio tour video. On the opening page of my website, you will find just a short little description of what you will find in the website. And then underneath candidate info, you will see a video of myself. And then below that, you will have my candidate information. If you do not want to watch the video, there is a short description of who I am. And then below is the exploration stage of part of our reflection that just talks about why I went into Masters of Instructional Technology and why I went through Fort Hays State. That's in my candidate info. And then below are my goals and future plans. Also within my candidate information tab is my technology philosophy. My technology philosophy is rooted in the foundational skills that teachers and educators need to start implementing technology within their school. I firmly believe through this program that the ISTE standards are needed and need to be integrated within the technology, not just using technology, but integrating it in all of the content that teachers use. And then also having a plan in your district, not just rolling out different types of technology. Really have a structured plan that teaches educators the ISTE standards, then having an ongoing plan to make sure that teachers are teaching digital citizenship starting very early on. As soon as the kids have technology in their hands, they need to know and understand why digital citizenship is so important, just like we teach them other life skills in the classroom. So my technology philosophy really touches on those things. And then I also have my resume underneath the candidate info tab. And in that, you just find my education, that I've worked basically as a second grade teacher for 7 years at St. Francis of Assisi Catholic School. I also was a registered daycare provider, and you'll find that below in my resume. Under activity evidence is basically the meat of our Practicum e-Portfolio, and basically everything that we've learned in this program. So the first thing that you will find is the professional development plan that I created for our district, which is the Catholic Diocese of Wichita. Currently, the Catholic Diocese of Wichita does not have any instructional technology coaches. And so my goal for the future is that they build that into the structure. So they have that as a job or a type of employment that I can maybe take on. So basically, I just lay out what I would do if I was the instructional technology coach at any school within the Catholic Diocese of Wichita. So meeting with the technology committee, having a technology in-service, talking about the ISTE standards. Again, kind of tying back into my technology philosophy. Then talking about digital literacy and digital citizenship. And then starting to integrate G Suite for Education, which we use already at St. Francis. And then building upon that. So building upon building upon building. And then finally getting down to more specific things like doing an in-class flip, and then various technology tools that individual teachers can use in the classroom. And then most of this was based upon a survey that I conducted within my school. I asked them basically if they even knew what the ISTE standards were, if they were teaching digital citizenship within their classroom, and that kind of was my plan for this professional development program that I set up, using those data points to structure this. So it's very relevant to my school. And then down below are all the activities that they would do and how I would assess them to see that they're understanding what we're doing. And then finally, the reflection with my professional development plan. I'm going to start by actually going to the article summaries. I think everything that we do has to be backed by research. And within this, I have 3 different article summaries. The first one is on assistive technology, which the first one touches on how we utilize and how it's needed and positive, and it is documented the use of assistive technology, specifically text-to-speech, how it can improve comprehension in the classroom. My next one is probably the meat of my learning and my portfolio is conceptual and procedural understanding. This is what guided me to use screencasts in my classroom to do kind of a modified in-class flip, was based upon some of these research articles. Our math in our district needs to be done with more rigor, and so we're doing these things with our students, but they're not really understanding the conceptual part of it. So I really learned through these articles that we have to make sure that we're not just pushing the procedural onto them, that they are completely understanding the concrete. So that's where that article comes from. And then the last one was on professional development. I'm very passionate about using screencasts for professional development within teachers. And I think it's very important that teachers are maybe making their own path in their own professional development. I think it's very important that they have their own goals and they're empowering themselves to build their professional development. So from the article summaries, I developed 3 presentations. So one was on teaching my students how to use Google Slides. They were working and learning about inventions, and then they divided up within their groups, and they researched some inventions, read a book on inventions, and then they all developed their Google Slides within that. So that covered quite a few of our social studies standards, speaking and listening standards, and obviously it had quite a few ISTE standards within that. So it all kind of tied back into the 21st century learner. My next presentation is a Screencastify in which my kids used to do an in-class flip. So in this, I'm just using my math slides and I'm guiding them through the lesson while I worked with kids on the carpet on something else. And then the last presentation was using Screencastify to 2 other 2nd grade teachers in my building, teaching them how to do it and how to set it up and the uses for it. And then these 3, there's 3 training videos and they all tie into each presentation. So the first one is my presentation on the Google Slides with inventions. The second one was our students using the in-class flip while I was working with my kids on the carpet. And then my final training video is me training my other 2 team teachers about Screencastify. And then finally, under activity evidence, were all of my extra resources that I used throughout the MIT program. And so in here I have my project-based learning reflecting upon my math instruction. This is where I kind of really took a hold of the MIT program and how I could relate it within my own classroom in my instructional design class. And then again, this is a Powtoon to introduce an in-class math flip to educators, and then using the Screencastify in my classroom. Down below are some more technology resources. The first one was one of the earlier assignments we had to do. The second one was we have paired up with a school to do pen pals with them. So this is just an introduction video for our school on why we're doing this and in how it integrates across cultures, and how we're using different forms of media and technology to reach across people in India. And then my knowledge gained through a Adobe Spark presentation was for hypermedia and hypertext, and then down below, just a few lesson plans on a Thanksgiving lesson and a digital literacy project that ties into Thanksgiving and how we maybe need to rework doing that. And then finally, there's a Google site link for Digital Literacy Day. And then the last two tabs that I have are a faculty review form and then my peer review form. I had a peer review, and then my assistant principal did also a review on my website, and those are in there that you can read. And then finally, my last tab is on my reflection. So through this, I just talk about again why I chose to get a master's in instructional technology, and then I also talked about going through the program, what my experiences were, what I thought that it was going to happen, what did happen, and basically walking through how I could kind of rework and figure out and basically readjust how my thinking was initially on it. And knowing that some things that happened that I didn't necessarily like, for instance, maybe not getting enough classes on actually being an instructional technology coach, like building those relationships with the teachers. Maybe it was because Fort Hays wanted us to be empowered and for us to go out and do that on our own. Through that reflection process, I gained some insight too during this whole entire program. So that is, again, my video tour. Thank you for watching.